What's going on, guys? My name is Fantastical, and today I have some sad news. Pretty much earlier today, I recorded yet another awesome hit a stunt video, and my game recording software known as Elgato decided that the pixels needed a makeover. So, yeah, good, looks great, love it, absolutely love it. But yeah, I can't record console GTA until I fix the issue. So I've compiled all 11 episodes of How to Stunt, which are essentially going to show you how to stunt. Nobody fucking cares, Fantastical. Why don't you just upload a money glitch after patch 1.25 million? It has everything and more that you need to know in order to become a successful stunter. This video is probably going to be over 30 minutes, so let's shoot for over 2,000 likes. And I hope you guys enjoy How to Stunt. In today's episode, I'm going to show you guys how to scale buildings on bikes, and pretty much each episode I'm going to be covering something different until I've covered every aspect or trick there is. So without further ado, let's begin. Okay, so normally when you jump on a regular bike, you only get a little bit of height, but by using the trick I'm about to show you, you can literally ride up walls and buildings. Now, if you're a beginner at this, then what I recommend doing is practicing at the location on the map you're seeing here, because it's a pretty easy spot and it'll help you guys get the hang of it. So now on your bike, the idea is to get a moderate amount of speed, because if you go too fast, you'll just crash into the wall, but pretty much just ride toward a flat wall and then jump into the air. And once you hop into the air, you want to lean back so that your tires face slightly upward. And as soon as you touch the wall, lean forward and hold LT or L2 on PlayStation. And as you can see, it's going to give you so much more distance, and you'll see I just made it up on top of this platform. Now, using this, you can get on some pretty high objects, but in order to get up actual buildings or high objects, you're going to need to know how to multi-jump. So when you go to multi-jump, it's pretty much the same idea. So we're going to jump, lean back, hit the wall, lean forward, hold LT or L2, and it's going to throw you into the air. But now, instead of just letting go, what you need to do is jump when your front tire comes in contact with the wall, and you can do this a bunch of times depending on how good you are. This can be really hard to master, but once you get it down using this, you can do some really amazing stunts. Now, surprisingly, the same exact concept works on motorbikes. So as you can see, I'm in midair and I'm riding up the wall, but when I brake, it's going to glitch and give me some extra height. I'll show you another example here. It looks like there's no way I'm going to make it, but here I just push down, and at the last moment, it's going to bounce right up, and it's just going to be really helpful and give me that extra height I need to do the stunt. So this works with any type of bike, and that's about it for the video. Now, if you guys want to see me continue this series, then don't forget to drop a like, and of course subscribe if you want to see more videos just like this one. And until next time, I'm out. And in today's episode, we're going to be covering how to catch massive amounts of speed, because before you guys attempt to stunt, first you have to understand the game's limits in terms of speed so you can pull off bigger and better stunts. So let's just jump right into this. Alright, so the first category I'm going to be covering is regular bikes. So on a bike, the best way to catch a lot of speed is to continuously jump or bunny hop while leaning forward. And on the left, you'll see I'm jumping and leaning forward, while on the right, I'm just riding as fast as I can. And of course, the one that's jumping has a pretty significant lead over the one that's not. But yeah, that's how you catch some extra speed on a regular bike. Okay, now moving on, next we have cars, and in order to do bigger car stunts, you'll have to be playing on single player as Franklin, and basically all you have to do is keep using the special ability, and as you can see, I just used it to maintain full speed when going over that bump, and I'm just going to pulse the ability, so just keep pressing the analog sticks and letting go. And what I found helps is to get a rhythm going so you can keep your use of ability even, and once you approach the stunt, you just want to let go. So as you can see, instead of losing some speed like you normally would when you go up the ramp, it's actually going to allow me to push straight through as if it wasn't even there, and I was able to land on the building all the way over here. And so definitely play on single player if you want to get the most amount of speed possible. Alright, so next up we have motorcycles, and to catch speed you can't use Franklin's ability because it doesn't actually do anything other than allow you to maintain speed, but there is another way, and all you need to do is lean back or do a wheelie. And on the left I have a bike leaning back, and on the right that's one just riding.
and there's a pretty big difference in speed, so you can see how important this is in doing bigger stunts. So there you have it, your full guide to catching massive amounts of speeds, and I just wanted to knock this out before we get into actual stunting techniques. But hopefully you guys learned something, and I'm going to try to keep this series going as long as I can until I can't think of anything else. And if you enjoyed, then be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you want more videos just like this. And until next time, I'm out. Today I've got episode 3 of my How to Stunt series for you guys, and in today's episode we're going to be covering vehicle choice, because when doing stunts, having the right vehicle can really make a difference in how good your stunts actually are. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so the first category we're going to be covering is bikes. So for bikes, we have the BMX bike and the Scorcher, and these are the only bikes that you can actually bunny hop or jump. The BMX is smaller and great for street stunts such as grinding or fitting in tight spaces, while the Scorcher is more of a speed bike and will give you more distance and control when going for bigger stunts. And I don't necessarily mean better, but bigger as in more height or distance, because the tires are bigger and it's faster. So I'm going to say it's all about preference for this one, but those are the two bikes you should use for stunting. Moving on, next we have motorcycles, and this is probably one of the most asked questions I get, which is what bike do you use? In the motorcycle category, the main ones involved in doing stunts are the Ruffian and the Pegassi Baddie. Now usually everyone right off the bat will jump and say, well, the Baddie's the fastest, so it's automatically the best for stunting, and I'm here to tell you that's not true at all. So I'm going to show you guys 2 clips, and in the first one we have the Baddie lining up at this curb, and we have this huge bump that we need to hit. When doing stunts, it's key that we're able to lean back in a short period of time, so you'll see right here that I'm going to wheelie up as far as I can, and using the Baddie, I just smashed right into the wall because it doesn't lift up that high. Now here we have the Ruffian doing the exact same thing, so we're going to pull up, and as you can see from the exact same spot, I did the same thing and was able to bump and make it on top of it. The Ruffian also has a high tendency to bounce, so if you're trying to land on things, sometimes you need to bounce off a few objects, which is really important. And you can still argue that the Baddie can go further, but again, it's sort of a preference thing, but for most stunts, I'm going to say that the Ruffian is the best choice for stunting with motorbikes. Alrighty, next up we have cars, and in this category for top cars, we have the Adder as well as the Z-Type. We're going to start off with the Adder, and this car is easily the best car out there for precision stunts. This car has almost the same speed as the Turismo, but the Adder has more weight, so it can push forward in midair for crazy amounts of distance. It's also more aerodynamic because it's long, so you can do barrel rolls easy in midair. Now the Z-Type itself, you guys are probably wondering, well, why on earth would I use that slow piece of shit? Isn't that just for show or something? And the answer to that is yes, it's very slow, but GTA 5 stuntmen actually figured out that in combination with the Cheetah, Entity, or Turismo, which are the best cars to ramp off of, the Z-Type can easily ride right off it and bounce very high into the air. It's also the longest car you can get, so it's perfect for doing barrel rolls. For this category, I'm going to have to say that it's all preference for this one because both cars can be better in different instances. Okay, moving on, we have aircrafts. For aircrafts, we have the Mallard, also known as the Stunt Plane, and the Laser Jet. As for the Mallard, it's very small and has great handling. It's a little bit slow, but that makes it easier to control, and it's also very small, so you can fit in some really tiny places for more impressive stunts. Jets have about the same handling, but they're much faster at the cost of size because obviously it can't fit into as small places, but it does have the ability to do advanced tricks like backflips and hovering if you know how to do that. So again, I'm going to have to go with preference as it depends on what you're trying to do. Alright, so last but not least, we have boats, and the one and only choice I would say is the Speeder. The Speeder, also known as the Speedboat, is the fastest boat making for more air, and it's also very easy to land in as you can quickly catch the person trying to land in it if they're trying to do a motorcycle stunt, so definitely go with the Speeder. So that just about wraps up my guide on choosing a vehicle for stunts. Hopefully you all enjoyed, and some of the clips in the video were sent in by stunters, so check them out in the description, and don't forget to drop a like and subscribe for more videos just like this, and until next time, I'm out. And in today's episode, I'm going to be covering the basics of how to grind. Grinding is a really good trick when you're pulling off stunts, and depending on how long they are, they can be very impressive, so let's just jump right into this. Alrighty, so first off, in order to perform a grind, first you'll need some form of edge like a fence or building, or maybe even a rail. Now if you are a beginner at this, then what I recommend doing is practicing at the location I'm showing you here, because it's very easy and will help you get the hang of it. Okay, so the first thing you need to consider before even attempting to grind something is how far do I need to travel. This is going to help you determine how much speed you'll need in order to do the stunt. In our case, the rail is very short, so we only need a little bit of speed. So we're going to drive up to this bump, and once we hit it, we're going to turn our bike completely sideways and try to face your front wheel towards where you want to land. Now you need to make sure that your bike is even with the edge you're trying to grind, so make sure you land on it in the center and not in the indents of the wheel. As soon as you land on the edge, you want to keep your bike steady and even. So if it rocks back too far, lean forward, and if it's forward too far, of course lean back. As for this grind, I didn't need to balance it out because it's very short, but for longer grinds you will need to balance it out. Moving on, I'll show you it with a regular bike, and it's pretty much the same idea, so just jump, turn sideways, and keep your bike even. On a bike you can also nose grind, and it's pretty much the same idea, so we're going to jump, turn our bike sideways, except now we need to lean forward into a nose manual and then put our front wheel on the side of the edge, and from there it's just all balancing it out. Grinding itself can be a very cool stunt depending on how far you travel, but it can also be used with other stunts, so you can do backflips or 360s and just get really creative. But that's about all there is for the basics of grinding. Now if you'd like to see the previous episodes of my How to Stunt series, then I'll have them all in the description below, so you can just click on them. And if you're interested in becoming a stunter, I definitely recommend checking them out. Also, if you've enjoyed the video or found it helpful, then be sure to drop a like and subscribe for more videos just like this one. But until next time, I'm out. And in today's episode, we're going to be covering how to land more efficiently. When you're pulling off a stunt, it's very important that you know how to properly land before even attempting it, because obviously if you don't land, it is a fail. So without further ado, let's jump right into this. Alright, so when you are doing a stunt, there are actually two things that you can do to increase your chances of landing. The first and most obvious thing is to land on both tires, but surprisingly the same concept actually applies on walls. So you can see in this clip here, I'm going to point my tires toward the wall, and because I land on both, it's going to let me bounce right off and land safely on the building. This is very useful when you are about to land, because if you're about to smash into the wall, most of the time it can be countered if you point your tires toward it, and that's it. Now I'm going to show you guys how you can properly land when attempting bike stunts, and I get asked this question so much, but the question is, how do you flip so fast? It's so extremely simple, and I'm going to show you guys right here in this clip. I'm actually gliding, which Rockstar has yet to add back into the game, but pretty much while you're in this upside down position, instead of pushing the analog stick to guide the flip, just release it all together, and it's going to whip back and guide me so I can land. This also works if you're in some weird sideways motion, so you can straighten out your landing by just releasing the analog sticks midair, and it's a very helpful trick. You can also use Franklin's ability to sort of absorb the speed so you can stick certain landings, but for the most part I try to avoid using it to land unless it's impossible without it. As for cars, there's really nothing I can say other than land on all four wheels, but that just about wraps up the video. Now this episode was actually going to be how to glide, but again Rockstar has to add that back into the game first. And also I thought to myself, well, if I show you guys how to glide, then you'll be pulling off nice glides and not landing your stunts. So before I show you that, I decided it was a good idea to show you this, and I apologize for it being a little dry, but I felt it was a very necessary part of stunting. But yeah, that's about it. If you guys have enjoyed the video and love the series, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe for more videos just like this, and until next time, I'm out.
Carrying coffins.
And in today's episode, we're going to be covering the basics of gliding and how to glide long distances. Gliding is one of the biggest factors of stunting, and it's what really allows you to do good stunts. So without further ado, let's begin. Alright, so when you're pulling off a glide, the first thing you need to do is actually wheelie at the right time. So as you can see, here's the bump coming up, and I gave myself just enough time to be able to bump off of it. How you hit a bump determines how far you can actually glide, so it's very important that you hit it at the right angle with the most speed possible. But basically, when you're in midair, in order to glide, you want to hold down on your analog stick and face your tires toward the sky. Try to hold the position as best as you can, and you're going to see right here, I'm just lightly tapping it down because you'll notice the bike's going to by default try to go down. So if you keep your tires aligned with the sky, then it's going to let you glide much further. And also try to hold your glide until you are very close to landing, and that's going to allow you to land safer. But as you can see, I just glided across this water gap, and I actually did this stunt with a race. So if you want to practice gliding, then you can add this race to your bookmarks, and I will have the link for that job in the description. It's nothing really too hard, but it's great practice for other stunts. So moving on, next we have a clip sent in by GTA 5 Stuntmen, and they're actually going to pull off this perfect glide. So as you can see, he's just soaring through the air because he held the position steady and then lands on top of this building. This also works on regular bikes, but for the regular bikes, it's a little bit different. With regular bikes, the idea is to keep your tires pointed horizontal, and as you can see in this clip sent in by Quebblecop, he's actually going to be able to land very safely on this building. Now, there are a lot of variations of glides, and I'm not really going to get too in-depth about those, but you can actually perform them backwards. Just point your tires toward an object, and gliding basically just makes your bike go wherever your tires are pointed. But that's the basics of gliding, so if you have enjoyed the video and want to see more from the series, just drop a like and subscribe for more videos just like this one, and until next time, I'm out.
And in today's episode, we're going to be covering how to perform an air grab or a bail reset. This is definitely one of the more controversial types of stunts that I'll be showing you guys because some people consider it a bail and other people consider it a stunt, but for the sake of this series, I'm going to be bringing it to you guys anyway, and without further ado, let's jump right into it. Alright, so like I said, air grabs are a very sensitive topic just because not everyone agrees with them, but when you're trying to pull one off, it's very easy to do, and basically you just want to hit a bump or some type of jump, and when you're about this distance away from what you're trying to land on, jump off your bike, which would be Y or triangle on PlayStation, and then a second afterwards press up on your analog stick. From there, what should happen is your camera angle will travel back to where you had originally left your bike, and your character's going to do like a sideways flip and then stick the land in that one spot, and if you get the timing down, it's pretty much like an 100% land guarantee, which is why a lot of people don't like them. Another thing you can do with them is avoid death at any height. So for example, you'll see right here, if I were to stay on my bike, it's pretty obvious I'd smack the ground, but if we jump off our bike and hold up a second afterwards, the camera angle is almost going to teleport us up and we land on our feet. And I mean, the main reason some people don't consider it a stunt is one, because it requires much less skill than landing normally, and two, the obvious one, which is without your bike or your car, it's considered a bail. But make of it what you want. Personally, I think the animation of your character jumping off your bike is very cool, even though it's not that difficult to perform. Another thing I noticed is that since the camera angle does snap back to where your bike was originally when you jumped off, if you time it right and you hit the top of a building or a roof or something, you can actually use this to wall breach inside of it. So I mean, there's quite a few uses for it. In my opinion, if you're making a stunt montage of some sort, then my recommendation would be either to make it air grabs only or only include a few, because you don't want to overuse it and piss off the stunting community. But yeah, that's how you perform an air grab. And just a little background, I believe Vanilla was the first to figure out this method, and I'll leave his link in the description below. Now, another thing I wanted to mention was, I know a lot of you guys are wondering, where is my community stunt montage? Well, originally I had planned for it to come out way before I hit 100K, and it was taking so long, so we got a second editor to speed up the process. Then the second editor dropped his part and deleted his project files, which was a huge setback, and we eventually found a replacement, which did work pretty fast. And then I thought, well, since it's taking this long, I might as well release this for 100K, and now the original editor's computer decided to crash on him just before we finished, and luckily he was able to back it up. But that's where we stand as far as that goes, and I'm going to try my best to get it out as soon as possible. Just before this video does end, you guys might have noticed the intro had a pretty sick edit in it, and it wasn't done by me, it was done by my friend Future Artist, and you can check him out in the description below, or I'll also have an annotation on screen, but definitely subscribe to him because he has some pretty nice edits on his channel. And also, if you guys have missed any of my past episodes of How to Stunt, then I'll leave a playlist for those in the description as well. But that's just about it. If you guys have enjoyed the video and want to see more from the series, just make sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more. And if you have any questions or concerns, you can follow me on Twitter and Google+, and I'll try my best to answer any of your questions there. And until next time, I'm out. in today's episode, I'm going to be showing you guys how to perform a wall ride. Doing a wall ride is one of the more advanced types of stunts that I'll be showing you guys, and the reason it's more advanced than a lot of the other ones is because of how hard it is to maneuver yourself on the wall. And with that being said, I'm going to jump straight into how you guys can go about doing one. So when you're trying to pull off a wall ride, there are a few things to consider before you even attempt one. And what I'm doing in this clip right here is getting as much speed as I possibly can. And I'm gonna wheelie to hit this rail. And you can tell as soon as I hit the bump, I have enough speed to ride up it. And that's very important because max speed is really what makes wall rides possible. So catch some speed, and as soon as your wheels touch the building, the first thing you need to try to do is correct your wheels, because more often than not, your momentum is gonna be slightly off to the side of what you're trying to ride up. In my case, I was almost perfectly aligned, so that wasn't a problem for me. And once I got on the building, I didn't really have to adjust myself. If this is the case for you, what you want to do is simply wheelie for a few seconds while you're making contact with the building. And this is going to give you some extra speed. And you can tell whenever I wheelie, it jerks my character forward. But do not hold the wheelie for too long, because eventually this will make your tire fall off. And we can avoid this by holding up on our analog stick to push against the building. And as you can see, I just stuck the landing, and that's the basics of a wall ride. But now I'll be showing you guys one that's a little bit more tricky. Now, the one I'm showing you guys right now, just so you all know, is 100% impossible without Franklin's ability. Franklin's ability essentially gives you extra terminal velocity when you're going up buildings, so you can push yourself further than you would normally be able to. However, you should only use it when the stunt is impossible without it. Boosts, on the other hand, are a big no-no for wall rides because you can literally ride about halfway up Maze Bank with boosts, so under no circumstance should you guys use boosts because they are considered cheating. But with that being said, in the clip you guys are seeing on screen right now, what I'm going to do is wheelie early enough so that I bump this curb, and then make it a double bump by riding off of this dumpster into the rail, and this is where the correction comes into play. As you guys can tell, unlike the first stunt I showed you guys, this one is at an angle, so by default your bike is going to try to get away from the direction your bike is traveling. This might sound a little bit weird, I know, why would it go the opposite way? But what happens is the bike will not know where to put all the speed because of the angle and try to swerve off to the right. To counteract this motion, what we can do is hold the analog stick to the left, and in our case that's going to straighten me out, so I can now ride up the wall. And once you're on the wall straight, it's the exact same thing as before, so just wheelie and then push up against the wall until you peak whatever you're trying to land on. And as you can see, I just conquered this enormous building, and I think at one point this was even the highest wall ride ever performed, so I was pretty satisfied when I hit this stunt. But the next clip I have for you guys is something very special, and it's the world's first vertical car wall ride. This is a clip sent in by a good friend of mine, Vanilla, and I'm going to be completely honest in saying the only way to perform a vertical wall ride with a car is to use a ramp or just get a tremendous amount of speed and get really lucky. And because it's so unlucky, these stunts are really rare because I don't think I've ever seen anyone pull off a bump with a car. But I just wanted to throw this in here to show you guys it is possible to ride up buildings with cars. Moving right along, now I'm going to be showing you guys how to perform a horizontal wall ride. Starting off with a motorcycle, here we have a clip sent in by Fame. I'm sure you guys all know him, he's part of Vactic. And you're going to see in this clip, we have him inside of this oil drum. And so what he's going to do here is bump this little tiny ledge, and then right here you're going to see a really good struggle to stay on the wall. And for this, you really need to pay close attention to your wheels, because if you go too far to the right when you're pulling your analog stick, you may find yourself sliding down, or if you're on the other side, then you may find yourself pulling your analog stick too much to the left, and we don't want that. So try to get yourself perfectly aligned, and from there it all comes down to staying on the wall and maintaining your speed. So if your wheels slide down, try to move towards the top of the wall, and if you're moving too close to the top, then move them towards the bottom. And that's really all there is to it. But keep in mind, whenever you do a horizontal wall ride, you must be riding along something curved, because obviously if you're riding on something straight on the wall, you will end up falling off. But next up, we have a few clips sent in by Erasable Ninja. He's going to show you guys how to do these wall rides with a BMX. BMXs are generally the exact same thing as motorbikes, but the one thing I think that makes them a little bit harder is that you cannot gather enough speed, so you have to do a bunny hop onto the wall, and from there pedal as fast as you can and balance yourself. And everyone hit that like button for an insane amount of effort put in by Erasable Ninja. And last but not least, the last wall ride I'll be showing you guys is the horizontal wall ride with a car. And these are really hard to get onto, meaning hard to get on the wall. But once you actually get onto the wall, it's actually very simple to stay on because cars automatically coast along and steering is relatively easy. And that's just about it. Now, keep in mind, wall rides are one of the harder stunts to actually find. Like when you're looking, you can't just say, hey, here's a big building, I'm gonna go wall ride up it. You actually have to take a look and find a really good angle. Keep that in mind, they are very hard to find. And then once you do them, they are pretty difficult as well. But now you guys can go find some wall rides. But before this video does end, I wanted to give a huge shout out to my good friend, Future Artist. He's a really great editor and he created that edit at the start of the video. And also Fame and Erasable Ninja for providing those awesome clips, for example. So make sure to check out everyone I just stated in the description below. It would really mean a lot to me and help me out a bunch. And also subscribe to my channel for more. Additionally, if you guys have missed any of the episodes of How to Stunt, then definitely check out the playlist in the description. It's every single episode I've ever uploaded, and I put a tremendous amount of effort into all of these videos, so definitely check them out. And let's see how many likes we can get for this video, and until next time, I'm out. But in today's episode, I'm going to be showing all of you the advanced glide, which is going to help all of you get much more distance when gliding while you're stunting. And it's pretty much the trick that allows people to do all the crazy stunts you guys see in montages and that kind of thing. And hopefully by the end of this video, I can prove to all of you people that think people use moon gravity that they are actually doing it completely legit. And that really bothers me because these people spend a lot of time actually trying to hit these stunts and they finally pop out a montage and wow, you're using moon gravity. But yeah, with that being said, I'm going to jump straight into this. So kicking things off, we're going to take a look at motorcycle gliding, which is actually the hardest. And to start things off, of course, you're going to need to gather up a bunch of speed like I have showed you guys in my previous tutorials. And basically when you hit a bump or ramp, what you want to do from here is lean back like you would normally. Now, in one of my previous tutorials, I did show you guys how to glide, which is to lean back and hold the position. And basically what leaning back does is it helps you resist gravity and it makes you weightless for a short while. But as you lose speed, you gradually come to a stop. So what we can actually do to resist gravity longer so that we don't lose any speed is lean back multiple times. And if you think about it logically, it does make sense. If pulling back once does help you maintain constant velocity, then doing it over and over again or pumping your analog stick will actually help you sustain your glide much longer. Now, the easiest way to pump is to move your analog stick back and forth at about a medium speed, and you want to pull it at about a 135-degree angle every fourth of a second. And you can also just roll your analog stick. That's kind of cheating, but that only works for a short period of time. So I would stick to the controlled pumps, and that way you guys can get the most distance possible. Another advantage to pumping is that you're able to turn while you're gliding. And I know that sounds funny, and it is because at this point you've now turned your motorcycle into a plane and can turn. So the way to do that is to repeat the same motion of back and forth, but on the left or right side. And essentially just do semicircles in whichever direction you'd like to go. So if I wanted to go left, I'd go up to bottom left. And then if I wanted to go right, I would go top to bottom right. Now, the clip I'm showing you guys on screen right now is a clip sent in by Mafia Stunting, and I figured this spot would be perfect. It's actually found by him on Mount Chiliad, and what's special about this location is that at this spot, you're actually able to fully defy gravity. While you're gliding, I'm not sure why, but like I said, the more speed you have while gliding, the further you're able to travel. So while you're using this technique on the biggest mountain in the game, the result of actually doing it on the biggest mountain in the game is so much speed that your mass is physically less than gravity. I know that sounds ridiculous, but it actually happens. It's not the moon gravity cheat. And as long as you keep pumping, you can actually travel all the way across the map and back again. And Mafia Stunting is the founder of this spot, and like I said, it's the only spot you can do this at. However, the technique is still very useful at other places, but as you can see, he actually landed on top of Maze Bank, which is absolutely nuts. Now, if you guys would like to check out Mafia Stunting in the description, then I encourage all of you to do so. But moving right on to the next class of vehicles, now I'm going to be showing you guys how to glide with a car. Now, most people didn't know you could glide with a car, and that's understandable because online, for the most part, that is true. But if we go into single player and use Franklin's ability, we're actually able to catch an unreal amount of speed. And so all you have to do to glide with a car is stop yourself from spinning by releasing RT or R2 on PlayStation. And you don't have to do this 100% of the time, but just when you're spinning around, which can happen a lot if you go off like a ramp or something. And from there, hold forward on the analog stick. And as you can tell by this clip sent in by Outlaw Penguin, stunt, he did glide all the way off that tiny ramp in the airport and land on that giant roof. So big shout out to Outlaw Penguin and great stunt, man. But that just about wraps up this tutorial. I'm not going to get into BMX gliding or bike gliding because it's really so easy to do and it really doesn't take any skill whatsoever, so I'm not going to consider it a stunt. But aside from that, I hope you all have enjoyed. If you have or want to see more from the series, then I need you guys to let me know by destroying that like button, because when Advanced Warfare comes out, it's not going to be so easy to post as many GTA videos, so let me know if you want more. And before this video ends, big shout out going to my buddy Future Artist. He created that short edit in the beginning of the video. It was absolutely insane, so they will all be in the description, so subscribe to all of them. And I hope you all have a great day, and until next time, I'm out. This is one of the most popular series on my channel, and I know you guys love it, but the reason I have not posted any episodes in a while is because it's getting to a point where I've covered just about everything there is to cover. I mean, I have a playlist in the description, and you guys can see we have 10 episodes in total that cover a really lengthy amount of material. So if you guys want the series to continue, then let's go for maybe 2,000 likes, and if we don't hit that, then it's alright. But pretty much I'm just saying that the support needs to be there if I'm going to keep making these videos. But I'm getting super off topic here. In today's How to Stunt video, I'm going to be showing all of you guys how to bike slide in GTA 5. The bike slide was originally found by Slayer, so I'll have them linked down below. And basically what happens when you bike slide is your bike is almost tipped over onto its side, but it's on an angle that's about halfway between hitting the ground with your tires, which for whatever reason, it lets you slide along the ground in that position. And it looks a little bit weird, but it can help you out quite a bit in some instances. Now, when Slayer found this, I'm pretty sure he called this thing a Shih Tzu slide because it works best with the Shih Tzu because of the mufflers. However, I'm calling it the bike slide because it does work with other bikes as well. For those of you unfamiliar, the Shih Tzu is the Hakuchu bike, and it does work easier with that. But once again, I'm going to be calling it the bike slide because it works with other bikes as well. In order to perform a bike slide, what you're going to want to do is find either a small bump or ramp that you can go off, and you want to have a little bit of speed, but don't go crazy with speed because then you won't be able to get into the slide itself. But pretty much all you have to do is while in midair, you want to hold your analog stick diagonal in this position right here. Depending on which way you're facing, obviously you would hold it diagonal right if you're to the right, or diagonal left if you're to the left. And while you're in this position, this is where things get a little bit tricky. The reason things are going to get tricky is because you're essentially going to be gliding on the ground. So move your analog stick up and down according to where your head is. If your head touches the ground, you will bail. So watch your head while you're in this position. You're still holding the gas while you're doing this. And once you get going, it's very easy to hold the position, but getting going is the hardest part. As you can tell, I just did it across the entire airport, which is a really good place to do it because it is a straightaway. But now I'm going to be showing you guys that in real time. So here we go off the ramp. We're going to make our angle and we're going to bob our character to make sure that we don't fall off. And all you have to do is keep moving up and down. So keep moving up and down or right and left, and basically just pay attention to your guy's head. Make sure he doesn't fall on his head because otherwise you will bail and you failed. So there we go. We've gotten to the end of the airport strip, and basically what we're going to do now is stand up. So simply release the analog stick, and this stunt doesn't have a lot of uses, but just recently Cartman from Evolve Stunting has made this stunt known as possible to execute by sliding under a series of trailers, which looked really cool. And quick shout out to Cartman for allowing me to use this clip for this tutorial. But there you guys have it. That's how you do the bike slide, which you can use in a chain with stunts to go under things given the right situation. So I hope you guys can use this stunt to your advantage. That's pretty much it for the tutorial. If you guys liked the video, then like the video, subscribe for more, and until next time, I'm out. Peace.
When I'm in Memphis, I be chillin', smoking plenty blunts, and they know I'm juiced up.
And in this episode, I'm going to be showing you guys some collaboration stunting combos that you guys can use. Basically, a collab stunt is just a stunt that more than one person contributes to, and combos are the combinations of vehicles that work well together to accomplish these collab stunts. So the first combination of vehicles I'll be showing you guys is with the boat and motorcycle, and pretty much the idea with this combo is to ramp off of some type of bump or ramp and land inside of the boat. The boat I'd recommend for this is the speeder, and pretty much the person driving the boat wants to try to look back while facing the direction the motorcycle is going, because when you land your bike inside of the boat, you have to make sure that the person in the boat is moving forward so that the momentum of the bike doesn't just collide with the boat, and that way you'll be sure to land much easier. But this combination of vehicles is moderately difficult on both ends because the biker needs to get the glide just right and the person in the boat needs to time his movements accordingly. And so in this case, my buddy Fame actually landed in the boat that I was driving, and it was a pretty awesome stunt. Next up, I'm showing you guys a clip sent in by a member of Evolve, Outlaw Penguin, and in this clip, he's going to be showing you guys the Z-Type Zentorno BMX combination. Essentially, for this stunt, what you guys are going to do is have a Z-Type facing the direction of what you'd like to land on. You then want to have another person in the Zentorno pretty far away but facing the Z-Type, so try to find a road that's pretty long, and now have the person doing the stunt put his BMX bike on top of the Z-Type facing backwards. So now you're going to tell the Zentorno driver to begin racing towards you guys. You'll need some timing for this because you have to time it so that the Zentorno goes under the Z-Type, pushing it upward, and then the bike gets launched into the air like so. And as you guys can tell, a tremendous amount of effort and precision was put into this collaboration stunt by Outlaw Penguin. Next up, I'm going to be showing you guys another clip by Penguin, and this is going to combine the barracks truck, the tank, and a motorcycle. What you guys are going to do for this type of stunt is park the barracks like I've done here. As you can see, I'm trying to land on the maze bank. So you can basically just have your barracks like correlated to that direction, whatever you're trying to land on. In my case, like I said, I'm trying to land on the maze bank. And so what I'm going to do here is have the motorcycle on top of the barracks just like so. Now have another person in the tank take the nose of his tank and he wants to poke it into the back of the barracks truck, and the motorcycle will then get launched into the air. And this combo in particular does give you a massive amount of height, which gives you a lot of freedom as to what you're going to be able to land on, and it's a pretty cool combination. The next clip I'll be showing you guys is this one sent in by JB Bars from Evolve, and this is a collab between the Best Jet and a motorcycle. And pretty much for this combination, you want to have the plane coming towards the motorcycle, and the person riding the bike is literally going to ramp off of the nose of the plane. And both stunters need to have good timing, and from there you can try and land on whatever you'd like. And as you can tell, Bars ramped off the plane onto the bridge, which was absolutely incredible. Next up, I've got this clip sent in by Bars again of him and GTA 5 stuntmen, and it's a dual flight where they come from opposite sides of the tunnel and fly through the entire thing, and they're actually going to blast right past each other upside down. So that is another stunt that you guys could do, and I mean, there's literally an infinite amount of possibilities as far as collaboration stunting goes. These are only a few, like a tiny amount of these types of stunts that you guys can do. Hopefully you can all try them out or come up with your own. Like I said, there are so many other types of stunts. I remember Vanilla from Nomad Union, he did something with windmills with the cargo bob as well as the boat. So that just goes to say that there's literally an infinite amount of things that you guys could do with collaboration. So put your heads together, try to figure out some good combinations of vehicles. These are just some ideas that you guys can mix around. And if you guys have enjoyed and would like to see more from the series, then leave a like and also subscribe to the members of Evolve that help with the footage, and I'll have them all linked down below. But aside from that, I hope you all have a great day, and until next time, I'm out.